Friends like twice during COVID or something.
What's up, Patreon?
Yeah.
Welcome.
I thought you didn't even like Friends.
I like Friends.
I'm gonna
but
lower this.
Not that much.
Work with
I
us,
don't know. I
Patreon,
think
while
about
we
it like, why did I
adjust some things.
You watched through Friends all 10 seasons twice in
Actually,
one
that's
year.
not true. What? No.
You said
COVID was a couple years, 2 years, I guess I would say, or a year and a half of lockdown. But yeah, probably not all 10 seasons. What happened was I was watching it and wanted to watch a particular episode and then watched from probably halfway through season 3 through season 10 and then thought, oh, I didn't watch the first season. So then I watched that and then I just watched all 10 seasons again.
How much time passed from the
I
end
tried
of
adjusting my mic
No
to
time.
get out of
To
your
put-
face.
Oh, so
Right
you went
in my face.
straight in.
Scoot more that
No
way.
time at all passed.
That's insane.
Yeah, I think about it. I'm like, why did I do that?
There we go.
Tommy,
Okay.
Courtney,
Yeah.
Will, he is perpetually watching The Office through.
Ugh.
As soon as he finishes last
Just starts it
episode,
over.
just go straight back to season 1.
God, I can't imagine not there are certain shows that I'll maybe every other year watch. Like Parks and Rec. It's it's been a really long time. And then I'll watch an episode and then I'll just watch it on Peacock when I'm doing something else.
Uh-huh.
But I can't imagine just being constantly watching a show like that.
I can't either. I feel like that's an easy way for me to hate a show that I love.
Yeah.
By the way, Zach, I really love your haircut.
Thank you.
You were wearing a hat earlier, but it looks really good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. I
appreciate
felt
it.
a little self-conscious. I was the only person at dinner not wearing a hat.
Oh, yeah.
It's
What,
because I've got a really big head. And even when hats fit me, they don't fit me.
you have to get your own haberdasher to make you custom hats.
Pretty much. I can't buy hats in stores. I have to order hats online. I was trying to get a sun
Is
hat.
that actually true?
Yeah, that's true.
Try this one on.
As big as it goes, it's not going to fit.
Really?
It'll get on my head, but it's not going to be comfortable. Oh,
Wow.
that's tight.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy. I'm halfway. up
I
the
wear a
thing.
size 8 hat in fitted hats. And I was trying to buy a sun hat because I have a yard now and I was trying to do yard work. And I was I should probably I'm very fair. I don't know if you guys know that about me. And I was I should probably get something to protect me from the sun while I'm out working in the yard. And then I'm just getting insulted. They're this is our double extra large. And I look at the size. I'm this is still too small for me. And then I finally found one that's just slightly too small. And it's their triple XL.
And you're just making do.
Yeah. I'm well, this is better than nothing. So that's kind of my life. Somebody was telling me to buy different headphones. And I was no, I have to buy Bose Quiet Comfort because I've broken headphones because my head is too big. I had a pair of Turtle Beach gaming headphones, or just happened to me twice actually. And I wore them and they were tight, but my mom didn't want me to play with the sound on because we shared a wall and it would annoy her playing video games. And then eventually the ear cup broke off.
Wow.
Because my head's big. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we finally have that all set up.
Thank you, Scott. What up, Patreon? You guys have been hanging out with us for a little bit. I guess we can fully acknowledge you now that Scott's work is done. Scott slaves away for us as our producer.
This is your exclusive look at what it's like to be friends with us, really,
Yeah, it's way more boring IRL than it is on the pod. We really turn it on for you guys.
It's like
Talking about
the
Jake's big head.
it's like the adults only tour at a haunted house, baby. We say whatever we
We can
want.
say whatever the hell we want.
I'm not going to say anything else from that.
That's safe.
But yeah, thank you guys for supporting us. And we're working on doing a couple of different things. This we changed the camera angle on you and probably quality because I screwed up. And I've been working on getting equipment so that we get better audio into the GoPro.
Uh-huh.
And I have that now at home. But my GoPro ended up, I went on vacation with my family. My GoPro ended up in my mom's bag. And then she went straight to Kentucky after we got back.
That's a bummer.
And she doesn't get home until tomorrow. So I won't be able to get that back from her until after this recording. But pretty soon you're going to have at least a better video and audio experience on Patreon.
I will say, though, the bonus of this is you actually get to see Jake's face.
That's what I was about to say. This is a better angle for me, worse for you.
But they also get, this weird side beard action.
because like with our regular angle, we get a straight on of Zach and Tyler, and then the side head of me and Scott. And you know what? This is something I'm self-conscious about. A few things I've become self-conscious about since I saw our video. One is how I look hunched over, and the other is the way my hair can stick up in the back if I haven't had a haircut recently, and because it gets like too curly for me to do anything, and it'll just like stick up a little bit, and they get to see that as well. So I like this better.
Well, what do you guys say we jump into this app?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's your movie, so you're kicking us off.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I want you to train me. All right, I need somebody solid, and who else better to go to? You at least owe me that.
I can tell the way you talk. You've been to school, so I figure you got some brains. Why would you want to pick a fighter's life when you don't have to? If Apollo was around, he would tell you that too.
Well, he ain't around. I've been fighting my whole life. I ain't got a choice.
It's always about a choice. I was in the ring. I saw how it went down. That fight should have been stopped. I should have stopped it.
Maybe he wanted to go out like a fighter. Maybe you did exactly what he wanted.
I think he'd rather be here talking with you.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Rotten Potato Podcast, a podcast where four friends sit down and review movies that you absolutely should have already seen. My name is Zach, and I'm here with three of my best friends.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Scott.
I'm Jake.
And I am Zach. And
Still Zach.
I'm happy and I'm sad. I'm happy, Scott, that you played the dialogue that I asked you to play, because that's not always a given. But I wanted to ask if we could do the Rocky horns instead of our theme song.
Oh yeah,
and I forgot to do that.
Oh, you did. I could have made that happen.
I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my bad.
I expected you to do that anyways after Zach asked, because I was thinking about introducing a new bit sometimes, because sometimes we ask you for a particular clip and you decide like differently
unilaterally.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't, and it's just not the clip I would have picked. So I thought it'd be fun to just say what we would have picked versus what we got. But we got exactly the normal thing this time.
We did.
Which was Scott still found a way to like not give me what I wanted. You nailed it.
Wait, I just did what Zach asked.
Because like now I don't get to make fun of you for it though.
Oh,
and now I look like an idiot for bringing it up. Honestly,
Jake and I did theorize though what Scott would pick instead, and I said some dialogue from when Creed and his girlfriend are getting some cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah,
maybe that
That was
you would think that
pretty
that's
vital.
pertinent. Yeah.
I texted Zach on the side because I wanted to make sure this wasn't like mean or rude. I'd be like, would it be like mean if I said this about Scott? And he's like, no, I don't think so. Maybe not though.
Well, this. I thought you were about to say something.
No,
yeah,
that.
some new.
No,
yeah,
sorry.
that was
Sorry,
setup.
the new bit that I was proposing. For
No,
the show.
I think that's a fun bit.
Yeah.
Because I deliberately don't do what you guys ask most of the time.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And
I probably would have picked something where he kept calling him Unk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just unk a couple times and then cut it off right there.
Or I might have just pulled back like Jake's like snorting noise. Because that kind of sounds like
Creed
just
says,
saying
I gotta
Unk.
take a crap. And then just that.
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking. Was I got to take a crap?
What I really would have liked would have been just a clip from a completely different movie, like maybe like Rocky IV, like Ivan Drago, like
If he
I did it for me.
dies.
Yeah, yeah.
I
did it for me.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot like your Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
They're the same person.
Get to the chopper.
Dolph and Arnold, same person.
I'm just finding out right now that they're different. Speaking of Dolph and Arnold Schwarzenegger, did you guys see that they're making Expendables? And
That's already out in theaters.
Yeah, but the thing that shocked me was when I saw a commercial was that Megan Fox and 50 Cent are in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I thought that the pitch was like old action stars.
Yeah,
They
How
are.
did Megan
50
Fox
Cent?
and 50 Cent get in there?
I mean, she was
Transformers.
in Transformers. I mean, that's as old of an action movie.
Yeah,
as,
and for
It's
actresses,
as old as the first Expendables.
I think the bar for what constitutes as old in Hollywood is younger for actresses.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
she may count.
Yeah.
What about 50 Cent though?
Yeah. How old is he?
I think he's just expendable in real life.
he didn't know
Hasn't
what he
even
was signing
shot
up
like
for.
9 times or something.
Yeah.
He's been shot a few times.
Like he
I think.
lives the movies in real life.
I
I thought you meant he's just expendable as a human being.
That's what I thought too.
that's what I thought you meant too.
Like we don't need him.
But we all kind of accepted that, and I don't know what that
all
says
he
about
can
us.
get is Expendables at this point.
Yeah.
Expendables 4.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think the conversation between like Megan Fox and Sly was like on set?
Well, I heard that the new Expendables doesn't have Sly.
wait, really?
Yeah.
No, I believe he's
Who
in
is
it.
Sly?
Sylvester
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
I will say I rewatched Guardians 3 pretty recently.
uh-huh.
And it really is like in my head canon, sometimes I give Sly a little bit of a short shift that he's in real life maybe as dumb as Rocky Balboa, but he's definitely not. He's actually a pretty good actor. He just plays the part too well.
I don't know if I would say he's a good actor, but I don't think he's as dumb as Rocky.
Well,
I'll agree with you on that one.
Fair enough.
yeah, I'm excited to get into is Rocky a good actor? Because I think this movie might prove otherwise.
Is Sylvester Stallone
Is Sly a good actor?
No, is Rocky? A good
Rocky is
actor?
definitely a bad actor. We've seen that in one
That
of the
is
Rocky
true.
movies.
Rocky 2.
Yeah.
He's pretty bad in that commercial.
He's very bad actor.
Yeah, but I think Sly might be a good actor at times.
Well, who was a late bloomer to this?
I
Me.
was.
Oh, both you guys. Okay.
I had actually seen the first tiny little bit of this movie and then wasn't in the mood. So
Gotcha. Well, before we get too much further, Zach, why'd you pick this?
I picked this movie for a few different reasons. So the Rocky franchise is a special franchise to me. And it's special to me because it's really special to my dad. And these were movies, they're his favorite movies of all time. And he showed them to my brother and I when we were really young. And I could just tell, even at that age, how excited he was to show it to us and how passionate he was about them, that I got excited for them, even if they weren't my favorite movies as a kid. And so watching them with my dad was it holds a special place in my heart. And then when this movie came out back in, I think 2015, I believe is when it came out, I was really excited. We were all really excited. I saw it with my dad and my brother. I have seen this one and Creed 2 with my dad in theaters. And so they're special movies to me. I'll admit there is a little bit of Warrior Redemption with this one as well, because Kate and I were rewatching all the Rocky and Creed movies leading up to Creed 3. And I think that I watched Creed, this one, the day before we were set to record Warrior. And I think I texted you, Tyler, and I was like, I should have picked Creed. This movie is...
Yeah, you did.
I
text me
agree.
that.
Yeah. And I mean, I like Warriors a lot still, but I was like, this is a much better film. But then also, like, I just think that this is a really good movie. And every time I watch it, I think I'm just even more impressed with how good it is. Like, I genuinely think that this is a really fantastic movie in a lot of ways. And I think that like there's a lot of movies where if you like have a Venn diagram and you have like excellent film that's not necessarily all that enjoyable to watch, you could put like Raging Bull in that movie. And then on the other side, not excellent film that's a lot of fun to watch, Rocky 2 through 4, essentially. I think Creed is like right in the middle, where it's like, I think it's an excellent movie that is really, really enjoyable to watch. And I think that's really hard to do. And so I think that even like take my nostalgia out of it, I think this movie deserves to be done on the podcast because I think it's a really good movie. And before we get into like, I'm excited to hear all your guys' takes, but I'd love to hear like your guys' relationship to the franchise itself, because I do feel like that plays a part in how you experience the movie as well.
Well, I was just about to ask you, just for clarification, because you said, movies that maybe aren't excellent, but a lot of fun to watch, like Rockies 2 through 4. But we're all agreeing that Rocky Balboa is equally not fun to watch and bad, right?
I never saw Rocky.
I forgot about. I actually really like Rocky Balboa. I think it's better than Rocky 2, 4, and 5.
I think it's way better than 5.
I mean, they're all better than 5.
They're all better than 5.
I don't know if I've seen a Rocky after 4.
Yeah, there's,
trying to think.
there's
Two more.
of them.
Yeah. So because that was when he was old man, right? Like he was pretty old in 5,
but not as old
No.
as what in Creed.
Yeah.
Five came out
It's
on the
pretty concurrent to Creed. Like Creed and Rocky Balboa seem to be fairly contemporary movies.
I
They're
think
about the same time.
There's only 9 years between Balboa and Creed, whereas I think Rocky 5 was early 90s.
Yeah.
Maybe late 80s.
Yeah. I think that was the one where I was like, I can't watch an old man do this. Like I'm not going to buy into this at all.
Rocky 5 he was training Machine Gun Kelly.
No,
No, it was Machine Gun Tommy.
it's Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn. That's
I
what
think
it was.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy
Machine
Gunn.
Gun Tommy.
Tommy Gunn is such a cool name.
Yeah, right. He was training Tommy Gunn in Rocky 5.
That's his adult son, right?
No, that was Rocky Balboa. Was where he's
Okay,
dealing.
that's
with
the only
adult
one I've
son.
seen.
That's why I feel like Rocky 5.
Not out of all of them.
I was
I've seen 1 through 4,
yeah,
but that's the only
never
extra
saw
one.
5.
right.
Yeah.
Never saw 5.
Wait, sorry. So he's not fighting in Rocky Balboa, or he is fighting?
He fights in all of them except Creed on.
Okay.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
fight in Rocky Balboa, and you're right. It is ludicrous because
Okay.
it's like an old man against a young man.
It makes sense in the movie, kind of.
So we'll go around. I'll answer your question, then we'll jump. We can all answer your question, then we'll jump into just the facts. My relationship to these movies, to this franchise, is really similar to yours. Me and my stepdad really bonded over. It was Indiana Jones and Rocky, and he also had Godfather, but I really didn't like Godfather. He loves him. I really didn't like him, but I did like Rocky. And so we would watch those together quite a bit over the years. And it's just, the franchise has just become kind of, even important in my own personal story. Like I have at times in my life, like derived a lot of inspiration and motivation from the Rocky story. And so with Creed, I was initially pretty hesitant. But I love this extension of the franchise, and I really like how they're handling it personally.
All the Rockies were underwear movies. Like if a Rocky's on, you
Nice.
watch Rocky. Yeah,
It's at the
like-
top of the
Yeah,
priority tier.
I think they're all great. I understand that's probably not rated the highest, but I really liked 4.
4 is my personal favorite.
But I understand like the one with like what's his name?
Clubber
Mr.
Lane.
T.
Mr. T
Yeah.
was like beloved. I never can when I first watched all these movies, like he lost.
Right.
And like so I didn't like that one as much. And so I just never connected with it as much. Like I liked this one because he like overcame.
Yeah.
But yeah, every Rocky movie is an underwear movie. They're all on the list.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question about underwear movies. I was just thinking about. Do you think, like, one, does your dad still do the underwear TV?
Oh yeah. We still every Saturday I drive down there.
So, do you think, like, if I just showed up to your parents' house,
Uh-huh.
walked into the living room, dropped my pants, obviously kept my underwear on, and just sat down on the couch, your dad would be cool with it?
Yeah. If I was there.
Like, we should coordinate that then,
Yeah.
because honestly, it sounds like a dream. But
we have a rule where we allow like guests to come in and drop trowel with us.
but
the
you have to,
other-
like, sign me in.
Yeah, like the other person has to be there.
Sign you
So
in.
like I wouldn't drop trowel with one of my dad's friends without my dad being there.
Yeah.
But-
But if my dad was there, like I'd drop trowel.
It-
But
and it's the same.
your dad wouldn't vouch for me, is what you're saying.
couldn't.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
against the underwear rules.
I've known your dad for a really long time.
Were these
I feel like
rules
he could.
like out of the gate, or was it like trial and error? Like
it
when
was
your dad's
yeah,
friends
there was
showed
some
up,
really bad Saturdays.
and you're just like watching Die Hard 3 with one of your
Yeah,
dad's
like our
buddies.
neighbor just came in. I was just home alone. My neighbor came in the house with nothing but his underwear on.
Yeah,
I was like, hey man, like
and he's like,
I
"Bro,
know it's Saturday,
throw
but
TNT on like Die Hard."
like maybe we're gonna underwear on by ourselves today.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Uh,
that's smart.
So now it's chiseled in stone. It's hanging in my parents' room.
Oh,
well, that's why I don't know the
in their
rules. I don't
bedroom.
really walk into their bedroom.
No.
No, the rules are chiseled in stone in the bedroom.
That's what I'm,
Yeah.
I'm saying.
yeah.
That's why I don't know the
Oh,
rules.
right,
I've been to
right,
their house,
right, but
I don't
never-
go into their
Yeah,
bedroom.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be weird. Less weird than it would be more weird than me just coming in and taking my pants off. It would be me walking into their bedroom.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I feel like pants off would be more weird.
Yeah.
Here's the thing
I don't
though.
know.
Pants off in their bedroom, top tier weird. Top tier weird.
I might want to cut that.
Jake, what was your relationship to the Rocky franchise?
I feel like I have a less strong relationship to Rocky than you guys. I like Rocky. I feel like it's one of those things that I don't really remember the first time I saw it because I feel like it's just I have always seen Rocky because I don't remember I was too young or whatever. This is on TV. It's very popular and my dad and my mom both like it. So I feel like I've seen them all. I don't know if I've ever really sat down and watched them. I feel like I've seen them all on TV and I've seen like through the whole movies, but they kind of blend together for me, which Rocky is which. But I always enjoy them. Like if it's on, I guess I don't really flip through channels anymore, but if I'm at my parents' house or whatever and they're flipping through channels and it's on, I'd be like, oh, cool, Rocky. But I like them, but it's not anything I'm like super attached to.
Scott, why don't you hit us with a little bit of just the facts?
Yeah, so this was directed by Ryan Coogler, written by Ryan Coogler and Aaron Covington, released November 25th, 2015, runtime of 133 minutes. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 95%. IMDb gave it a 7.6. So a little disparity there. Box office of 174 million on a budget of 35. So that's a 5x. Did not win any awards, but it was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Stallone.
Yeah, and you said he's a bad actor.
Yeah, you said that.
He is.
He meant that like
I stand by it.
like he's a bad guy, like he's doing crimes and stuff. He's a bad actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
What did you mean?
The same. I meant like he's like a good like
Oh,
dramatic performer.
You mean because this is a
On
movie
film.
podcast?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got it. Sometimes I get lost in what we do.
Yeah, I think that's what that happened when you were talking about 50 Cent being expendable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's 50 Cent's been shot 9 times. Scott shot him 5 of those times.
Scott's also a bad actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not in the sense that he is a bad
Performer.
No,
on
Scott's
film.
one of the
Yeah.
best thespians I know.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he's just he acts in bad faith.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
He's the one who
probably
put the blood
Is
on the sand.
Is that how you know that Sly's a bad actor? Are you
Yeah. Well,
committing these
You know,
crimes together?
sometimes like, when you guys aren't available,
Sly
like I'll
shot
have
50 Cent the other 4 times.
Yeah. But Scott knew Sly well enough to commit crimes, but not well enough to know that people call him Sly.
Right. Right.
well,
Yeah, what do
his
you-
real
what do you
friends don't
call
call him
His
Sly.
friends don't call him that.
What do you
Yeah.
call him?
I can't say it on the pod. I have to bleep it.
It's offensive.
That's his crime name.
It's offensive.
I know because like when you guys aren't available, like I normally call over a few friends and we play Risk, and
Yeah.
Sly's one of the guys.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny, Sly.
Oh, so did 50 Cent get shot in a Risk dispute?
Well, that's how I know he's a bad actor. It's like anytime like we have like agreements or like anything, like he's always going back on those agreements.
Oh, so he's you
Yeah,
to play Risk with.
it takes a bad actor to know a bad actor.
Okay.
Zach, you had obviously seen this movie before. What do you think watching it again?
I thought it was great. I loved it. I knew I was gonna love it. I almost called this episode off. I tried to. I had a
Yeah, I was surprised.
pretty stressful couple weeks with the kids, just a lot going on. And I looked at the calendar and realized I had like 2 weeks to watch 5 movies. Like that's just not gonna happen. But I found the time and I'm really happy that I did because I love this movie.
I obviously had seen it before too, and to be honest with you, I forgot how much I like this movie. Watching it again, I was really, I was like had an ear to ear grin the entire time. I felt like all of the nostalgic nods were handled super well. Like I loved so much the music in this movie. When he's in like the training montage and it's like at the very end he's running down the street with the ATVs chasing him, and it's like this great mashup of like this great hip hop beat, then it like transitions into the like Rocky fanfare that was like so typical of the montages in all the movies, in all the Rocky movies. I thought that was done like flawlessly. Like it put an ear to ear grin on my face. I liked it a lot. I like Ryan Coogler a lot. And man, Michael B. Jordan is just so friggin' charismatic. He is so good.
That is maybe my biggest takeaway from that was what I was
Yeah.
going to say mostly.
Yeah.
Just so much charisma.
Well, let's jump into your take. What do you think watching it for the first time?
Yeah, I liked it. I watched this on a plane, and actually the first time I tried to watch it on a plane. And so it's funny that 7 years apart, Creed was still on the plane.
It's that influential, man.
But I liked it a lot. I thought it was really enjoyable to watch. I think Michael B. Jordan is just so charismatic. I really like Tessa Thompson as well. And it was really fun to watch. It was a better movie than I was expecting it to be. I think I thought I was going to enjoy it, but maybe think, oh, this isn't the best movie. But I liked it a lot. I think, I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves. I kind of didn't like the way they chose to end it, just because I know it's not, Rocky's not a name, but this is a Rocky movie. I expected a big triumphant win at the end of the movie,
But he doesn't always win.
He's lost
that's
in other
true.
movies.
This might be where my relationship to Rocky fails me, is that I feel like because they all blend together, I feel like I remember him winning all the time, like losing and then winning, and that's how Rocky goes. But
That is one of the things about Rocky that I think I personally love, but you're totally right. Like, it's a interesting observation because all of the Rocky movies pretty much flow end to end into each other.
Uh-huh.
And so they often do sort of start with a victory and then a defeat and then a rise to another victory, or the inverse happens, because he's just constantly on this roller coaster, but each movie's cut out of that bigger story in such a way that it does make you feel like he's always triumphant, even though he's not.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean he lost at Creed 1 is like almost kind of like a repeat of Rocky 1, where like they both go the distance, but neither one wins.
uh-huh.
And I really like that, because I feel like it would have been a little hard for me to believe that this dude who has only won 16 fights, I guess, up to that point, in 15 of them being in Mexico, could unseat the heavyweight champion.
I was thinking that as well when I watched the movie, I just thought, man, I wish maybe I just wish the stakes were a little lower.
Yeah.
So that we could have ended on a win.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that. I listened to a podcast on this movie from a different movie podcast that I really like.
There are no other movie
how
podcasts.
dare you?
I'm sorry, but they had some
Do you
good
listen to
stuff
our
say.
podcast?
Yeah, I do. From time to time I do.
Okay.
I think Zach is all of our listeners.
And our Patreon supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just setting up different pseudonyms
Yeah.
and paying $15.
I don't know if you guys have seen the meme where it's like, where were you when my meme was only getting 5 likes? And Zach's like creating 5 accounts.
Oh no, but something that I heard a critic say about this movie is that he felt like and I think it's a fair critique, I guess, that this movie almost feels like 2 separate movies, and it could have been 2 different 90-minute movies, where one is the first movie ends with him after his first fight with I don't remember the guy's name. I think it's Leo or something like that.
Tito or something.
Yeah, Tito, whatever it is.
It's a
the
name.
dude from Philly. And then the next film would be him preparing to fight Ricky Conlon. And I don't hate that. I feel like it could have worked, because this movie is really long. It's the longest movie in all of the Rocky films, like in the entire franchise. And they do fit a lot into it. And I feel like they pull it off as well as really possible. But I think that it could have been interesting to see this as 2 films. And so maybe that would have felt a little earned, more so earned, if we see him spending more time preparing for that fight.
Because no, I agree that if he won, I wouldn't have liked that. It wouldn't have been believable. But I kind of just wished I had a different feel, but just lower stakes, I think, is what I wished for.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And that makes sense. Because even Rocky 1 was kind of lower stakes than this was, because this was an actual title fight.
Uh-huh.
In Rocky 1, it was just an exhibition match. Like, it wasn't, I don't even think it was really even for the belt, if I remember right.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Apollo just needed to fight somebody. And so they're like, let's just pick somebody, basically. Yeah.
Scott, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I love Michael B. Jordan. I think I have yet to see him in a movie that I don't think he like does excellent in. I haven't watched Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I know that one has a lot of hate around it. So
I mean, it's better than the old Fantastic Four movie. So
Okay. It got rated lower.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably a little too long. I thought there was a lot of great cinematography. I think Michael B. Jordan did excellent. I do like Tessa Thompson. I thought there was so much like callbacks to other Rocky movies, which was a lot of fun. I wasn't a huge fan of the way they wrote him in with Apollo having an affair. Like, because I don't remember, that wasn't really a part of the Rocky movies. I didn't think it was.
No.
It seems
Um,
believable of a pro athlete, though.
Yeah.
Sure. It wasn't that it didn't feel believable. It's just he was such an iconic character who like heroically like died in
And so you're like
this.
posthumously tarnishing his honor.
Yeah. It felt almost like it pulled some value from the older Rocky movies because of that to me. But I really enjoyed the movie. Had a lot of fun watching it. Was rooting for him the whole time. I didn't really feel like he lost, even though he did. Like, I feel like there were so many victories within the loss.
Yeah.
That it was just like, yeah, he won. Like, so
He proved it to himself.
That was, I think, part of maybe why I felt a little bit frustrated was he didn't lose. He ran out of time is how I felt about it. And I was like, man,
Saved by the Bell.
yeah, like 6 more seconds and he wins this fight. And that would have been really hype. But
I think that's where the phrase comes from.
I think so.
Saved by the Bell is from that exact scenario.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've always made the assumption. I've never looked it up.
Yeah, it is kind of a brutal ending, but to be honest with you, I love it because, you know, after watching this, I'll confess that I pretty much, you know, within the last week, I went back and rewatched Creed 2 and 3 as well because I just got so fired up from watching this.
It made me want to just start the entire franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
over.
Yeah. I've been fighting with doing Rocky again because I'm like, I kind of want to save it, you know, for a little while. It was a couple of years ago since I've seen him, but I want to save it. But I had to watch Creed 2 and 3 again. And I'll tell you what, I think Creed 2, I think this is a great movie. I think Creed 2 might be like my personal masterpiece. Like, I think watching it again, I'm like, honestly, this is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Wow, really? Creed 2?
Creed 2, yeah.
I heard Creed 2 was like higher rated than Creed 1. Is that true?
No,
It's not.
It is
No.
not.
Also, sorry,
They've gone downhill for
Oh,
each
it's
one.
okay.
Did you have any more?
No, I don't know why I never got around to seeing this. When it first came out, I was super excited for it and just never saw it. Like, I wanted to see it. And then I think like I was still kind of like remembering the Rocky 5 or whatever one that I saw that was just pretty bad. And I was like, do I want to watch it? And so I just ended up never getting around to it. And I'll hold off on watching Creed 2. So if you want to pick it down the road, then we can do that too. Because I haven't seen any of the other ones.
I might pick it for next year. It should be within range.
I'll be honest.
Can do it.
I don't think I will hold off on watching Creed 2. I'm going to watch it.
I mean, I would support that decision.
It's like we did John Wick 2 not that long ago. And I was like, I'm going to watch 3 and 4. Sure.
Yeah. Because, you know, you're
Yeah.
already there.
I'm not waiting.
Yeah. I support that. I would not want anyone to hold off watching something just in case someone might pick it in a year or two.
I've done that before with a movie that I kind of want to watch, but I don't want to watch that bad.
I think John Wick 1 is available, by the way, because I thought John Wick 2 was John Wick 1, and that's the only John Wick I've seen is that one. So
I think John Wick 4 might be my favorite one.
4 was awesome.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård. Oh, such a good villain. And, you know, that's the thing too, I think with this Creed that I don't love as much is I don't feel as much like intensity from our main adversary.
Yeah, I get that. And I think that I would agree with that. It's, you know, not to just continually bring up this critic that I listen a lot to, Sean Fennessy, but he had said in the podcast that the Rocky movies really live and die by their villains.
Yes.
Which I think is really true for the Rocky movies. I think what I love about this one is I don't feel like the adversary is Ricky Conlan. I feel like the adversary is Adonis Creed. And I think that's why this is my favorite. It's my favorite film of the entire franchise. It feels like Creed. It's the emphasis is not on can he beat Ricky Conlan. It's can he overcome his personal demons? Can he live up, but then also like distinguish himself enough from the name Creed? And he ends up doing that. Even if he doesn't beat Ricky Conlan, he ends up beating himself. And like I think that's even alluded to when Rocky is, you know, having him spar against himself in the mirror.
I was literally, as you were talking, I mean, it evoked that. So I think you're right.
And so, yeah, like I agree that this is probably the least memorable villain of the entire Creed trilogy thus far. But I feel like this has so much more of an emotional depth that the other two don't, that I really resonate in a lot of ways. And I'm excited to kind of talk about Sly's part in that, because I think the way that the role that Rocky plays in this movie, I love. This is my favorite film. Like, it might seem like heresy to say, or heresy, that this is my favorite film in the entire franchise. But I think that this is my favorite part that I've seen Rocky play. I really love Coach Rocky. And it feels really appropriate because I think previous films allude to like that's a role that he wants to play. He clearly wanted to coach Tommy Gunn. It's evident that he wanted to pass something along to his son, and it pains him that like he doesn't really have that connection with his son. I think that's a really interesting relationship explored in Balboa. And so I think he finally has honestly something worth living for. And I think that that's really compelling. And I think it makes the whole cancer aspect of this movie really powerful, is that like he finally is able to fit into that mentor, that coach relationship with someone who like wants it back from him. And I think that that's really powerful. And so that's why this one's my favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I love their chemistry together, regardless of, you know, I think, you know, reasonable people can disagree about Sylvester Stallone's acting ability, but their chemistry on screen together was so great.
It was phenomenal. It was really good. And it's so interesting. I think we have Coogler to thank for so much, because it really sounds like Sly really had no interest in doing this. Didn't even think it was a very good idea to begin with, but then kind of made a peace with it happening, but didn't want to be a part of it. And Coogler really, it sounds like Coogler really had to talk him into doing kind of a lot with this movie, including the plot point of Rocky getting cancer. Was something that Rocky wasn't really interested in either as well. And kind of bringing in
Rocky
Sly,
wasn't interested in getting cancer.
I'm sorry, Sly. In my mind, they're synonymous.
Yeah.
Sly wasn't interested in it. He didn't want to bring in that tragedy into the movie because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like while filming, he lost his son. And his son was who played his son in Rocky V. But Coogler was able to kind of talk him into and encourage him to channel that pain that he had into the role. And Coogler, I think, was able to really commiserate with Rocky over that, because Coogler had also recently just lost his father as well. And it was cool to hear, like, Tyler, how important these movies were to like your relationship with your stepdad. And I feel very similarly in it. From the sound of it, it sounds like that Ryan Coogler had a really similar situation with his dad, that these were really important movies to him and his dad. They were movies that Ryan's dad would show Ryan before Ryan was getting ready for like an athletic game or something like that. And then movies that Ryan's dad would watch routinely with Ryan's mom as she was, I think that she was battling cancer. It might not be cancer. It might be some other illness that she eventually died of. And so these movies are also very personal to Ryan. And I think that it's probably why it works so well.
Yeah, that passion shows.
It's like everything that's like that could have been so cheesy about these movies just work really well. And I think that like on paper, this is like a bad idea to just like do a Rocky 7/Rocky reboot with Apollo's son. That sounds terrible, but like it's really, really great somehow. And so it's kind of wild that it works as well as it does.
I think that exact summation of the movie is why I wasn't that interested in seeing it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, let's do Rocky again with Apollo Creed's bastard child. That doesn't sound that good to me. And
Yeah.
I think I was surprised.
It sounds like a cash grab.
Yeah.
And I think I was thinking about this the other day is, we've talked about on this podcast how frustrating it is to see these like cheap reboots come down the pipeline or
For Jake.
sequels. I mean, I share in that frustration.
It's not frustrating for Scott, I think is what it is.
Yeah, that's correct.
But more often than not, they're just so bad. But like this, with like a couple other notable films that have come out recently, I think of like Top Gun Maverick. Like they can be done well. I think you just need to get a filmmaker who like one is proficient in like being a filmmaker, but also has like a deep love and respect for like the franchise, the IP that he is tackling. And so I think this is it kind of proves that point.
I think that there's a lot of remakes where honestly I feel like they absolutely hate the thing that they're remaking, and I'm like, why? Like the thing that comes to mind right now is Snow White. I don't know why they're remaking Snow White. Everybody involved with the production of the Snow White remake seems to have utter disdain for the original Snow White.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
like-
almost like let's correct Snow White.
And it's like, if you think it's that bad,
Then don't
leave
do
it behind.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Don't make it again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the mindset of pulling this out. I guess just for money is the only thing.
I think it's for money, and I think it's to sometimes reestablish like reset the clock on their IP.
Yeah.
You know, like if they can keep resetting the clock by, putting out a new thing, then they get to hold on to that IP for another X amount of time,
I guess all that is to say is I'm glad that this wasn't what Snow White is probably going to be. I don't know.
Totally.
I haven't seen Snow White. I can't
Totally.
pass judgment, but
Hey, it might be good.
I don't think it can be good if you hate what you're remaking. Like, I just don't think you can make a good thing that way. But I might be wrong.
I will say, they say that love and hate spring from the same well. So maybe
Isn't that what Tom on Parks and Rec says he says to get girls to like him?
maybe, but that is a real thing that people say. Scott, you seem to indicate that you don't think that Sylvester Stallone is a very good actor in this. Was that
I wasn't saying in this, I was just saying in general.
gotcha? Gotcha. Okay.
I think this was probably one of the best performances I've seen from him for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It could just be his like super punchable face.
You think he's got a super? I mean, I guess he got punched in a lot of his
It's a very
movies.
punched face.
literally has been-
It's,
Yeah.
it's nowhere near Andy Serkis for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I
like
can't
Andy
believe-
Serkis is ugly.
You think he's got a punchable face?
Yeah, like his face just has like a certain amount of like flatness to it
Deformation.
that look like it would just your fist would fit really nice right there.
For me, do you know who I think has the most punchable face in Hollywood?
Who?
Rami Malek. I feel like he's just got such a punchable face.
Is it? It's.
I don't think he has a punchable face. I think you want to punch him.
Yeah.
No, I don't
think
know.
it's-
I think part of the reason I don't like him is because I think he has a punchable face.
I think it's the dead-eyed grin.
Could
I think
be.
that's what
It
it
could
is that
be.
makes you want to punch him.
What
Because he has this big grin, but just nothing going on behind those eyes, and it just feels very punchable.
I have zero criteria.
I was
It's
just gonna ask, like, what's the criteria you guys are dealing with?
I
here?
I look
Because
at it and I think, man, that looks like that would
I
be
just-
good to punch.
So, like, more so, it's just like these people have irritating faces that you would like to punch.
I don't even know that that's it.
Because I wouldn't be able to think like what makes a face punchable or not. I don't think I think through those terms. Like that guy's a punchable face.
I think about like
it's because you're a little beta boy.
part of
Maybe it is.
Soy boy.
I've never punched anyone in the face.
I
Really?
think sometimes
Are you shocked by that?
I'm
a little bit.
Have you punched someone in the face?
Yeah.
Who have you punched in the face?
I got in a lot of fights in elementary school.
What? I feel like that's more shocking than me never punching anyone in the face.
I don't
You were a
know.
little bad boy?
I feel like I got in 1 or 2 fights a year in elementary school.
Why?
I don't know.
Did they have punchable faces?
One of them did.
I think
you want to see his name on the pod.
No.
people just liked me. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I was able
What's
to
that
talk my way out of it.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice.
I'll be honest. I don't know that I was trying to talk my way out of it.
You're just throwing hands.
Maybe.
Wow.
I was a rambunctious little guy.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever punched anyone in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I've also been punched in the face.
I don't know if I've ever full force punched someone in the face.
How were you under or over 12 years old?
Over.
Right
Over.
around 12 years
Interesting.
old.
Okay.
Somewhere between 11 and 13.
I was under 12.
I punched a kid in high school.
He was 8.
Oh, I
Scott was.
I definitely punched kids in elementary school too in the face.
There was a kid
But I
in
don't
high
really
school.
count.
You guys are little
those.
troublemakers.
Yeah.
No, I was in my mind, I thought I was defending someone. There was a boy in high school who told one of the girls in our class that she looked like a dude,
Yeah.
and she started crying. And so he started I was like, nah, man, that's not cool. And he's like, basically was like, F you.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't about it. And so
Wow.
I, after class, tackled him to the ground and told him not to do it
You
again
just
and
punched him in the face.
reinforced it. And he avoided me forever after that.
I bet. I'm sure he did.
Nice.
So
I got in like playground scuffs. I was definitely a bad kid in elementary school. I was definitely a troublemaker. I hung out with the wrong crowd.
There's a couple scenes in this movie that where Sly, his acting literally makes me emotional.
what were they?
I can tell you right now, when Sly gets his diagnosis,
Uh-huh.
the locker room, like 5 minutes after that, when
Uh-huh.
he says, I would take every great thing about my life, put it in a bowl and trade that for one more day with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
When he is in jail with Adonis, when he goes to try to get Adonis out of jail and Adonis blows him off. And then in the ring, which precedes, I think, maybe one of the most hype moments in any movie I've ever seen. Actually, that whole 10 minutes, even what comes before that, is so freaking good. It's one of my most rewatchable scenes on YouTube.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not disagreeing, but I would say how I interpret all those things it was incredible writing. I think
yeah.
the writers did a fantastic job. I thought the dialogue was really, really well written, and he just didn't mess it up.
I feel like you're selling him short. I like a lot. I think you need both. You need both to be operating on all cylinders to really sell it.
Because I tell you what, if I delivered those lines, would have sucked.
I think you would have messed it up though. I'm saying he delivered
So-
an adequate performance.
Is not being excellent then messing it up? Because then I
No.
guess we're agreeing.
No, I think what Scott's saying is that
I think there are people that could have done it better.
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, sure. I'm not saying that he's the only person who could have ever done this.
I think
I
there's
think he is
probably
the
a
only person
long-
that could have ever been Rocky in this movie. Yeah.
I think
Well,
there's
I mean,
probably a
yeah, I mean,
decent sized list of people who could have done it better.
I'm not saying he's the best actor necessarily even for the part or in the world by any means. What I'm just saying is I think that he was really good in this movie. That he
You
was,
can be good and not the best.
that he acted excellently. And I think, to disprove your point, I think when Rocky's finding out that he has cancer, he's doing a lot of acting without delivering any dialogue, and I think it's very powerful.
I agree. In part because again, I was oh yeah, I want to rewatch him do something else recently. And just even looking at those two parts side by side intentionally, I agree. He did a lot, especially in that hospital scene. I remember watching it back this time thinking in that moment, wow, that was actually some really good, convincing acting. And I really thought in that moment, man, he really has, whether it's because he's a good actor or not, or it's because he just wrote this character, he knows this character so intimately that I really felt like watching this movie. I never, to your joke earlier, Zach, I never felt like I'm watching Sylvester Stallone. I feel like I'm watching Rocky.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. No, I think I agree.
Yeah.
I think Scott is selling him a little short here.
Yeah, maybe I am. I think every time I see Sylvester Stallone on screen, I think about his acting. I don't know if I've seen a performance of his that hasn't like at least pulled me out a little bit.
Interesting.
That's fair.
I mean, I think he's even good, and maybe it's because, I mean, I'll stand by that. I think that he's acting excellently in this film, but even the prior ones, maybe I'm just unable to divorce Sly from Rocky. Like those characters are just one and the same to me. And maybe in some of the like not as good Rockies, you know, his like I wouldn't say his acting is great, but like when I think back to like Rocky 1, I feel like he did a good job. Like I feel like he sold me on a very unique character.
Oh yeah.
That I would really have a hard time seeing anyone else in that role.
And all of this really does, even especially in that like scene that you're talking about, where it's a very nuanced scene because he's really not saying much, but the camera's on him for a while. It really is interesting to me and impressive that he's been able to like truly develop this character that just came out of his head. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's been able to develop that character so convincingly over so many years, where that scene feels very natural coming out of Rocky 1. Like if you just finish Rocky 1 and watch that scene all these years later, decades later, since this actor has played that role, that it still feels like the same character.
And it's all the more impressive because he probably can't move his face that much.
Right.
All that surgery. he's had.
Totally.
That's another thing that adds to punchability in the face, by the way.
Sure. That's fair.
Plastic surgery.
We've talked about a couple other components of this movie that I think worked really well. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I know, Tyler, you've already kind of talked about how much you enjoyed the music. Did you guys, Jake and Scott, did you guys have any thoughts on the soundtrack?
I think I liked it. I liked the, bringing in the old stuff, and then I liked I don't think I had anything in particular other than I liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think Ryan Coogler, I know he's not the one who's like doing the music directing, but like I think he always chooses the right people. Like everything I've seen him direct has had excellent music.
It's something that's obviously important to
Yeah,
him.
like I know he has to like work hand in hand with whoever his music directors are.
Yeah.
Like I think he does a great job of that. There was one scene that we had already actually kind of talked about a little bit that I didn't like resonate with. I thought the music was good, but it was the scene where he's running and then like all the quads and bike and everything is behind him. It felt a little cheesy to me, to be honest.
Super cheesy. It just didn't really bug me that much.
It was just kind of like, why? Like it didn't inspire me at all. Like once again, this is like a movie that's over 2 hours. Like I feel like there's some things like that where maybe it could have been pulled out. I understand it's building a little bit of like he's a fighter like that has like common people around him.
I think that's what it is. I think it's reconnecting with like because he's a California boy that's developing Philadelphia roots.
Like the city's behind him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it felt funny.
And I feel like if Rocky 2 didn't have the scene where Rocky's running down and you have half the kids in Philadelphia running behind him, then the scene in Creed wouldn't be in it. Like to me, it felt like a callback to that scene.
Right.
Sure. But we already established Rocky 2 through 4 were fun to watch, but not critically good.
No, but that's in the first one. That's in Rocky 1.
Oh, okay.
I have a semi-music related question. What do you guys think about the choice to use like a song that you wrote as a makeout jam by Tessa Thompson?
You know what? So scenes that I think could have been cut, that's the scene that would have been cut.
I can't think of anything douchier than making out to your own music.
Well, and then even Bianca's just like, should we do this? Like, right? Like your uncle's upstairs. And he's like, it's fine. It's like, I feel like that's a little disrespectful.
Yeah, especially because honestly, like they kind of just met.
Yeah. Like they don't know each other that well. This is not your home. It's a little presumptuous to just assume like, hey, he's cool with it.
That's kind of Adonis's entire MO, the whole movie.
That might be in
just,
character.
You're
right.
He just assumes familiarity a little bit too much.
Yeah. Maybe it's not an issue with the writing and it's just a moral issue I have with that decision.
Because the first time he does it, he walks up to the van. He's like, yo, Unc.
Yeah,
and he's like, did you just call me Unc? He's like, yeah, I figure we're like family. And he's like, all right, I guess I can live with it. Like he's like,
yeah. Don't you want this? I got it in the cloud. What cloud?
I had a couple notes about the movie. That was definitely one of them. But then right after that, I have a note that I don't understand. That just says wild turtle shot. Do you guys know what that means?
Yeah, Rocky. He owned turtles, and he'd always go to Adrian's pet shop to pick up turtle food, and that's like how he developed a relationship with the character who becomes his wife. And so in Rocky 1, he has turtles, and you see him feeding them. So it's just kind of like
Another
he still
call.
has. He
I think
still
it's
has
just something
turtles.
I didn't remember.
If you didn't realize it was an Easter egg, it'd be a really weird thing to like focus on. Yeah.
I also have one other note, and I don't know if this is a little bit iffy, but do you guys think Rocky looked a little bit weird during the scene where they met, scene that we played? Do you guys think that there's any chance that he immediately thought it was Apollo's son and just didn't want to be racist? Because that's kind of the vibe I got. Maybe just because he's an old man and I'm projecting that on him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I did not
but
ever.
I didn't think that, yeah.
What's going
I
Just a
don't
on?
think
funny
I got
thought I
that
had.
vibe.
Just a funny thought I had.
I want to get back to the music a little bit because Scott, you had talked about Ryan Coogler's films always having really good music.
Mhm.
And I guess I'd have to bring up with Black Panther. I know that he kind of commissioned Kendrick Lamar to write some original music and then bring in some other artists to collaborate on some original music that was done for that. I think he did something similar with Black Panther too.
Mhm.
But the non like I guess like the more like score-esque aspect of his films, the music in his films have all been done by Ludwig Göransson,
Mm.
who's a composer that Tyler and I have kind of an interesting relationship with him. We've seen him perform a couple times
Mhm.
together. He wrote a lot of music with Childish Gambino and would perform it with him. And so we've been able to see him perform. And as someone, I feel like we both kind of watched his career
Oh yeah.
go from like he's an unknown guy to now he just scored Oppenheimer, and may win the Oscar for it, which is really crazy. But I think that he did a really good job. And I think that his score in Creed's really impressive. I love that he was able to take motifs from the original score, from Bill Conti's score, and kind of incorporate them into this. I think more than anything, I love that we did actually get like the Rocky horns at the end of the fight,
very end. Yeah.
which just brings me back to like the most hype scene. I just love that scene so much.
I would have been incredibly bummed if we didn't get him.
Yeah.
And I was really bummed that we didn't get him in Creed 3
Yeah.
or really any Rocky.
Yeah.
He was not in it. And I think
That's
that's
not even mentioned.
that's why it's my least favorite, even though I like the movie, but just
I thought Rocky died.
No, they at the end of Rocky, spoiler alert, but at the end of Rocky 2,
Creed 2.
I'm sorry, Creed 2, at the end of Creed 2, Creed wins in his big match, and Rocky's last words in the franchise is "It's your time now," and then the camera just pans down behind him, observing the ring, and with Creed across the back, and then like cuts to black.
So
At
he's
the end
done.
of Creed
Like,
2.
he's not going to be in.
He's not going to be, and seriously, in Creed 3, his name is never even mentioned once. Like they just move on from him.
Wow.
in it wasn't even actually like he wasn't necessarily written out of the series, but and Sly's been really like vague about this, but in some interviews that he had done right around the time of Creed 3, it was more of like a dispute that he had with one of the producers, who I think had been involved in previous Rocky movies as well. And I don't know what happened with them, but Rocky basically refuses to be a part of the franchise going forward as long as that dude's involved. And he said, like, I have no issue with Michael B. Jordan. I like the direction he's taking things. I think he's doing a really good job. But for some reason, he has an issue with this one producer guy. And
That's an interesting decision by the studio to be like, if we've got to choose between some producer and Sylvester Stallone to be in the Rocky franchise,
Be Rocky. Yeah.
insane. that
I
they
don't
wouldn't-
know. I think maybe this guy would be maybe the ones making that decision.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. Sly again. Sly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Also, if like the studio is like going all in on Michael B. Jordan, like at some point you do have to divorce yourself from the old.
I think that just like in this movie where they think that Rocky's going to put butts in seats for the fight, Sylvester Stallone is going to put butts in seats in the movie.
100%.
Like
For
that
any-
makes if he does that until he dies, people will go see it because he's in it.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's weird though, like, because movies get made in different ways, and a lot of the time it's not actually the studio that's really putting up the money for it. It's producers
Interesting.
that are financing it. And so if the person paying for it, you have a problem with them, then you're kind of just at an impasse, because that guy's not gonna like budge, like, and he's the one putting up the money. Like,
What'd you guys think of the fight choreography,
I liked
or
it.
even just the fight scenes?
I loved the last fight scene. Actually, I liked all the fight scenes. I love a boxing movie, honestly.
Mhm.
So honestly, I like boxing. I don't know why I don't watch it. I like to watch old boxing matches, but I don't think I've ever watched a fight live. But I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I could have used some more like air punches with like massive head swings back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like there was enough homage to Rockies 1 through 4. Like there was too many.
It
like,
looked
hits.
too
It looked
realistic.
too real. Yeah, too many
yeah.
fists actually hit face or got close to it. Like, it should have been at least
it's-
2-3 feet away.
It's funny that you say that. I was listening to an interview with Michael B. Jordan, and he was talking about that one scene where he gets punched and he goes down, and it's slow-mo when he's falling to the ground. He actually took a legitimate punch in that scene. And I guess it was the kind of thing where Sly was just like, hey, like, you got to take a punch at some point.
like it's gonna happen, dude.
And, well, almost like it was a rite of passage. Like, you have to let this happen.
Take your lumps.
And Michael said, like, Ryan couldn't legally say,
You're taking this.
yeah, but he also was just like, oh, if it happens, and Sly was just like, it's got to happen, man. You got to let it. And so, like, he legitimately socked him, and so he literally took that punch.
Yeah.
Good for him,
Love
honestly.
it.
Yeah,
Can I say though, in the fight scene, what I did think was is such an interesting choice, and not something that I think should have been done in real life, but would have been a very unsatisfying ending. Was, he's very hurt, and his eye is completely shut, and the ref is trying to get him out of the fight, and then Sylvester's like, "I watched Apollo die in the ring. I can't let you die in the ring." And then they help him cheat the ref.
Yeah, right.
They're like tapping on his neck
tapping his
with the number of fingers. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You're gonna let him die like his father? What? What an insane choice!"
He was holding the towel there at the end. I think he was ready to go.
I mean,
but-
yeah, and he was trying to talk Adonis out of it, but Adonis wanted to do it. 'Cause he's an adult man.
Well, and I think Rocky's one of those people though that it's like he's going to try to get you to make the right choice before, but once you're in, you're in.
You're in, yeah.
and I think you resonated with what he said.
And that does prove to be true, by the way, in Creed 2. That is part of his relationship with Adonis, even.
Yeah, and I think he really resonates with what Adonis says when Adonis says, like, I got to do this. And he's like, why? And he's like, I have to prove that I'm not a mistake. I think Rocky, like, in that moment, is like, okay, like, you're right. Like, let's do this.
Well, because I think it was such a, like, that was always Rocky's journey to every fight, was braced by that, like, kind of something to prove to himself, and I think he saw him in that moment, was like, yeah, I get you. I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved all the fight choreography. I thought it was really good. I actually think it gets better. Like, I think it's better in the second, and I think it's the best out of the entire franchise in Creed 3. The fight choreography, and how they're shooting it and everything like that. Some of the decisions that they're making.
It's pretty hard to top that first fight in Philly, though.
I mean, it's really good. It's really,
It was
really good.
And we've talked about one shots on the podcast before, and how a lot of times directors can get creative to cheat. And Ryan swears that, like, they didn't cheat, that was all one true shot.
Which is insane.
It's crazy. I mean, I feel like everyone involved, that has to take so much work. And, like, I can't imagine how you can think through, like, this is when he's going to punch this way, so I have to dodge this way, and keep track of, like, 100 of those punches, and just all the choreography involved is, I can't even fathom how you do that.
Yeah, and that's not even to consider all of the like blocking that you have to do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy. Yeah, super cool.
No, I really liked this. What do you guys think about I'm just gonna call him oh geez, now I'm even blanking on I'm just gonna call him Remember the Titans.
Duke's son.
Duke's son.
He's a character that I like that gets more screen time going forward, and I like that character.
Sorry, is he?
He's the gym, the guy that told Adonis he wouldn't train him.
At the very
Oh, yeah,
beginning,
Yeah.
at Mickey's gym.
I don't think I had very many thoughts about him, honestly.
Yeah, he is. Zach's right. He's a character that has a lot more influence in the coming movies. But he just is not an actor that's gotten a lot of work before, and so I always like to see him when I get to see him. You know.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know who I did like? And I feel like this is such a minor character, but for some reason I liked was the British guy's trainer. And I had seen him in the Witcher show, which sucks, but I like him in that.
Oh, okay.
That
I didn't
show,
know him
that,
from anything.
that show's terrible. I like him, and I like Henry Cavill, and that's the only reason I've watched all 3 seasons.
Also, I just want to say he's not a trainer at Mickey's gym. He's a trainer at Apollo's gym. I just want to correct that because I know people personally who love to get upset.
Who will
at
get
us
upset about
when we
that.
make
Yeah.
mistakes. Yeah,
No, that's a really important.
I'm going to make more
distinction.
mistakes.
It's a really important distinction.
they'll get mad at you.
And it's not even Apollo's gym. It's Duke's gym.
Yeah, yeah, But
Yeah.
It has like Apollo's silhouette on it.
Right.
But I did. I had one other question. Maybe this is
Delphi.
where
That's
my
the name of the gym. Delphi.
my memory of the Rocky franchise is failing me. Why is Apollo? Why is everybody like, oh, he's the greatest of all time? When he got murdered in the ring by Ivan Drago, like just destroyed.
Yeah, but
well, I mean, when you talk about like someone as being the greatest of all time, you're talking about in their prime. You're not talking about like when they.
Was he past
ended.
his prime at that point?
Yes,
way past his prime.
Okay.
he had like retired and came out of retirement to fight him.
Okay.
And
See,
I
this is,
think-
I think, where my memory is failing me of Rocky.
And I'm misremembering, but I even think a component of the movie is like he's not really taking it that seriously. He's not
I know he's
training
not
very
taking it
hard, right?
seriously.
It was
No, it was a paycheck.
Yeah.
It was just an exhibition fight.
Uh-huh.
Like they were both kind of supposed to be kind of pulling their punches. It was like for charity, basically.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a
Yeah.
red shirt match.
And
Yes,
Drago's
right.
like taking roids and stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, he like went straight for the head.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know that's what you're supposed to do, but
Yeah.
he went. Yeah, it was a kill shot.
Yeah. I mean, if he dies, he dies. You know, he did not care. I will break him. Scott, more spoilers. The plot of Creed 2.
Even Drago's son?
Yeah.
No way.
You
Yeah.
really didn't know that?
No,
I had no
Okay.
idea. Honestly.
Yeah.
Victor Drago, dude. It is.
that's sick.
It
Kind of
is.
wish I would have found out
that-
in the movie. That would have been hype.
It's legendary, honestly. That's why I think, to be honest with you, I think it's why it cracked into my top 10 favorite movies of all time, is because Rocky 4 is my favorite. Like, Ivan Drago is my favorite villain by far. And so to have him return with his son. Oh,
Yeah.
How funny.
It's-
I know this can't be what they have written, but how funny would it have been if Michael B. Jordan killed Ivan Drago's son in the
killed
ring?
Victor
Do you know
Drago.
how much funnier it would have been if Ivan Drago's son killed Michael B. Jordan in the ring?
Why would that have been funnier?
Because they just did it again.
This is the same thing.
They would be persona non grata in the United States. They would be like, you killed our 2 favorite fighters
Yeah, that'd be the funniest thing
in
in the
this
world. To me.
blood feud. Oh man. Anything else that like particularly worked or didn't work for you guys?
I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, I love this movie. I'm so glad they made it, and I'm so glad that they gave me fan service in a way that didn't feel like condescending.
I think, yeah.
Like they didn't condescend to fans,
Mm-mm.
which I really appreciated a lot.
I was gonna say, as much as I didn't like how they handled like Apollo's story, like making him have the affair and everything, I really loved what they did with his wife
Mhm.
and like bringing in this kid, even though it wasn't hers.
Oh yeah, Marianne
Uh-huh.
is such a great character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like the way like she came circle and like even sent him the shorts at the end. and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Like you are his son.
That's awesome. When he gets the shorts. I really didn't have an issue with Creed having an affair and then having a son by that woman, and it almost felt like that's aged kind of well in an era where like any given figure in entertainment, all it takes is like a couple accusations to come out, and then the next thing you know, like they're just. At best, their reputation is tarnished. At worst, they're completely canceled. It felt kind of realistic.
Once again, I don't think it felt unrealistic. I just didn't like it for the character.
You were just sad for Apollo's memory.
Yeah, I think it hurts like his character like in the older movies.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. If it's a real thing, you felt the betrayal from the character a little bit. Like, oh, dude, the
Yeah.
heck, you
Yeah.
know, like if you're taking on face
Yeah.
value.
Same way with Jake when he found out about like Danny Masterson.
Right.
Do you think I care at all about that 70s show?
He seems like someone that you would be like one of your favorite people.
Yeah.
I'm super insulted.
In light of all the news, that is pretty insulting to say.
Hide.
That was all for Patreon.
Hide on that
face you just
70s
made.
show.
That soured up,
Uh-huh.
incredulous,
Yeah.
betrayed, hurt face.
That hurts. It's going to take me a full week to get over that.
Well, on that note, what do you guys say we put this one to bed?
Yeah. I think Zach, you're up first.
I'm gonna give this 9.3 punchable faces.
I'll give this 8.2 dead dads.
All right. I'll give this 8.4 bastard children.
And I'm going to give this 8.9 probably multi-million dollars Mustangs lost in a fight.
All right, this comes out to 87%. That comes out to movie number 25 out
All
of
right.
148.
All right. So once again, the other guys gave this, or I'm sorry, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 95%, and
Yep.
IMDb gave it a 7.8.
7.6.
Oh,
No.
7.6. So we're right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Coogler knows what he's doing, and I'm excited to see him do a non-Black Panther movie.
Yeah, I've liked everything I've seen from him, but I definitely haven't seen all of his stuff. And he seems like he's still a relatively new filmmaker.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see him make more and like intake more of what he's putting out.
Did you? I feel like at one point you nominated Fruitvale Station.
I did, but then it got replaced with Fast 4.
One of them.
One
Love
of the
that you had
best.
to remember which fast it was.
I tried to, because when I pull them back next year, I wanted to be like, oh yeah, this one was like replaced by this one. I've thought about pulling it back.
Yeah, it's a
and,
good movie.
I haven't seen it, but yeah. So
Well,
it's a
we
true
have,
story, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So maybe I will. I think my calendar's already full for next year, though.
Oh
So
my
I'll
gosh.
have to
It's
replace
not set
something
in
else.
stone.
Wow.
I think Tyler, you're the only one who hasn't added theirs.
Well, I always go last because I let you guys do your thing, and then I try and like balance out our recording sessions.
And for all of our Patreons out there, we might post this list once it's full, so you guys get a sneak peek of all the things coming out.
I
Yeah.
think it's patrons, not Patreons.
Yes.
Did I say Patreons?
Yeah.
Our patrons on Patreon. I'll tell you what, we'll see what the guys think. I think that our patron community, I think they should get like, we can post this. I think they get to get like at least one veto or something like that.
They can veto. I don't have to listen though.
Oh, okay.
They
You
can give me
ignore it?
feedback that I will ignore.
One thing we could do also is just introduce a Patreon rating. Like our
Oh, yeah.
patrons get to rate a movie, and then we can talk about that.
We can
rating as
include
well.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that. So you can figure out what we're going to do with that with us together by subscribing to Patreon. So you could find that at patreon.com/Rotten Potato Pod.
Yep.
And hey, if you're not following us on social media, you should definitely do that. So follow us on Instagram also at Rotten Potato Pod. But that's going to do it for this one. Where are we going next week, Scott?
I think next week the Ox coming out.
Oh,
The
the
Ox
spooky
is
season.
out.
I think we're in the spooky
it-
season.
It's not coming out.
Yeah, it's
been
always out. The
always
Ox
out.
has been
Whole
out.
time.
No,
since
literally
2020.
Creed 2 is October 2nd release.
Oh, so the
or
Ox,
Creed 1. The Ox,
the Ox
was in.
came back in momentarily.
It's
Just
just been
for
in
today.
literally every year. We've had 5 releases in October.
You mean
Really?
it's the
so the
over
Ox
second?
has always been in.
the Oct is always
here
in
and
for
there.
one of the 5 weeks.
I didn't know that.
I think
Jake and I have been saying that it's out.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's been
it's
in.
gonna be out.
Zach,
It will be out.
Zach, look at me. It's the over second.
Oh, okay.
It really is. Yeah.
Okay. I can get on board with that.
So what's
Because they say the Oct is out.
It's over. Yeah.
Scotty,
It's
you're
the
like, I
month
got
of
it. I
over.
just didn't like
it's
it.
all over.
Yeah, we're
now.
going to Sleepy Hollow next week.
Sleepy Hollow. This is our second Tim Burton slash what's his name? Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim Burton did this. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
We talked about this on pod last
I
time.
don't think I remember.
and you
I've
talked
blocked
about
it
how
out.
you were going to
You-
be disappointed because it's Tim Burton.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
It's my last one.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in Spooktober.
Dude, I think this episode is just going to be effed up.
It says like Spooktober on it. Oh, it's on our text thread somewhere. I'll have to pull it up. But it looks pretty good. They're gonna do like an Instagram giveaway for it.
Well,
Oh,
Patreon.
I remember seeing it.
You've
Yeah.
heard it here first. Also, so of Zach and I that we're going to be doing a Spooktober giveaway. Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that now.
I have no memory of seeing
I do remember
saw
that. But I was already in Croatia at the time. So I was 9 hours ahead. To be fair, I missed a lot of text messages. Well, Patreon, thank you guys so much for being a part of this with us. We're working on doing our best to kind of come up with better content for you guys. And we'd love to hear from you, even what you'd like to see. So shoot us a DM.
Yeah, shoot us a DM. Also, if there's any movies out there that you want to recommend, let us know. And if you want to say why you're recommending it, maybe we'll even throw that in the pod. We'll give you some airtime. We'll see.
We'll see. We might have to ask our general counsel if we're allowed to do that.
Yeah,
Is anyone
I've had a
watching?
lot of people.
He's
recommend
one of the
movies to me.
people.
I never want to do them.
I know, but we'll have to
No,
ask.
no, I'm not saying that we'll watch their movie for the pod. I'm saying they could
they'll
recommend
just
a movie and
tell us the
tell
movie's
us
good.
a little bit about why they think it's great, and then we could throw it out there.
I see.
Remy, you'll have to if you catch this, you'll have to let us know if patron
if it's against our
recommendations are legally binding or not.
Remy, can you also tell us why you would pick Ratatouille?
And Remy, can you make sure Jake hasn't received a dime of any of the revenue? Just want to make sure we're above board with that.
I'm not huge on that joke.
All right, see you guys later.